Hello, good afternoon. This is Louise in Manchester. Welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's feeling well. A couple of days to go before Christmas for those of you who are celebrating. Today we're going to be looking at my Piretto Lemon and how I've been trying to propagate it. So this is the Piretto Lemon. For those of you who are not subscribers to my channel won't know what I'm talking about, but this variety of lemon, back in 2018 I was in Toronto and visited a garden centre called Valley View Gardens. Lovely place and lots of tropical plants there. Wish we had a nursery like that here where I live. Papaya plants, pomegranate trees. I'm talking like 20-foot tall pomegranate trees with fruit on, lots of citrus trees, huge papaya plants, all for sale. I wish I could have all brought them back. However, this one stood out for me because it had these very large knobbly lemons attached to it. There were a few more of this variety. When I saw them, I thought, oh, that looks like a Zara lemon. And when I scratched the surface of the lemon itself, it had very fragrant, it smelled very fragrant, lovely aroma to it. And then when I read the label, it said Piretto. I thought, oh, I've never heard of that. So I did a Google, and it is a member of the, it's descended from the citron. Similar to the Zara in that sense. These are very old varieties, and I'd never seen one of these for sale, when I've been looking up types of citrus that I wanted to grow. So I managed to bring it back. I had to cut it back here. You can see that was where I cut it back originally. It wouldn't ship very well if I hadn't. And this branch here has grown, and this one has grown since cutting it from there. These are the two branches that it's grown since then. Not a very easy plant to keep. It's not one that I would keep outdoors all winter. Obviously it's indoors now. It was outside during the summer. Didn't flower. And I thought I would like to propagate this plant just in case. And I did try to, a couple of weeks ago, do an experiment with an air layer. So a section of this branch here, well, I've removed it. I singled that out to do the air layer on. Come to check on it today. And noticed there was dieback. So this is the branch that I was using. It had a couple of leaves on it, as you can see, blackening going on there. So yeah, not a good sign. So this was travelling up the stem, and obviously the leaves were sort of getting paler, so they weren't getting the water or the nutrients it needed. So I've cut it off basically. Thought I'm not going to flog a dead horse there, just get rid of it. Don't want to spread any disease as well to the plant. So given up on that. I think it could be maybe this plant doesn't root very well, or it's I've not done the air layer properly, or it's the wrong time of year. Could be many reasons. So instead I've taken a small cutting off it and put that in the propagator, which I will show you in a minute. That's in the rear living room where my Meyer lemon is. Different citrus grow at different rates. I mean, my Meyer lemon got lots of little baby lemons on it. I'll show you that soon, and you can see the difference in the growth of these two. So it's not an immature plant. It's got quite a decent stem to it, but I'm not 100% sure what the growing conditions are for this particular type. just to show you recently. This has happened, I think, within the last couple of days. I think that's coinciding with the very, very short days that we're having, and obviously very long nights. We've just had the shortest day of the year, and this may have triggered the plant into flowering again. So it doesn't often do this, and there we have some flower buds. I don't know if these will stay on. When they do flower, they flower in these clusters and very, very fragrant, and the flowers are quite big. So let's see what happens. I wish it would flower a bit more profusely, because it tends to just sort of flower on one branch and then they drop off and that's it. So I'm hoping that these upper branches at some point will produce flowers. Just checking the leaves. I think there's some aphids on them. I'm going to have to, yeah, there you go, there's some aphids there. What I tend to do with that, I don't spray insecticide unless it's a heavy infestation of scale. I will literally get a tissue and then I'll just wipe the underside of the leaf. A bit difficult to show you on camera, but that's what I do, is I wipe the underside of the leaf just to get rid of the aphids that way. It's a bit friendlier than blasting it with chemicals. I mean, I do use insecticide if it's a bad infestation. If it's, say, thrip, for instance, very, very difficult to get rid of thrip. I'm not sure about using neem. I've heard lots of people use it and think it's great, but it's the fact that it's an oil. I'm not sure how that affects the plants, because most of the insects that I find are on the underside of the leaves. They tend not to be on the top. So if you're spraying, you need to spray it underneath. And then pretty sure that's where these little, there are tiny, tiny little pores on the leaf. Now if you put oil on that, surely that would block the leaves from doing what they need to do, and they transpire oxygen. So they absorb carbon dioxide and then they expel or transpire oxygen. And if the leaves themselves are blocked, the little holes, the tiny little holes in these leaves, surely the oil would block it. I'm not sure. So I've never used neem oil, but that kind of thing sort of worries me. You know, will the oil clog up the pores of the leaf, or do you have to rinse that off after? You know, so I just stick to, you know, inspecting the leaves. So have a look there. So that looks like a scale insect, and I'll just remove it to take it off like that. Check the underside of the leaves, the vein margins, and things like thrips and scale, and also the stems. You need to check the stems of the plants as well, because scale will go on the stem itself, and it literally, you know, will suck the life out of your plants. So the Piretto, I did say I've taken a cutting of it, so I'm going to go to the back room and show you the little cutting, and also you can have a look at my Meyer lemon. So that's the Piretto. Oh, and another thing, the reason I took a cutting as well is I want to do a swap with someone. I recently saw this chap had got wrongpool lime growing, and I think he's taken cuttings of it. So I wanted to do a swap. You know, don't expect to get something for nothing. You can buy the wrongpool lime, but it is quite expensive. So I thought, well, the Piretto, it's not that widely available. I haven't seen one for sale. here in the UK, and I tend to buy most of my citrus from the UK, or get, you know, cuttings, plants from other people. So this person has shown me they've got wrongpool lime cuttings, so I said if they wanted to do a swap with me, I would take a cutting of this plant. And I did try to do the unsuccessful air layer, so this is the reason behind it. Now, if you've never heard of wrongpool lime, you could Google it, Wikipedia it. It says it's growing in the northeast of India. It's actually, Rangpur is a district in Bangladesh, which is in the northwest of Bangladesh. I suppose when it was named the Rangpur lime, technically then it was part of India, because Bangladesh only came into being in 1971, after the War of Independence. So the Rangpur, it's sort of got a little bit more significance to me than the other plants, because of, you know, it grows in Bangladesh, and I would like to have something, you know, that is primarily grown there. So Rangpur lime, fingers crossed, that'll be on my list for 2021. So I'm just going to pause the video and then nip into the back room and show you the propagation of this plant, and also my Meyer lemon. Station here with my LED lights, grow lights here, and just show you, this is the cutting I took. It's in perlite, and I used a little bit of rooting hormone in there, and that's where it will stay. Hopefully it won't die off. We've also got passion flower, or passion fruit I should say, just germinating. It's been in there quite a while now, and those are the cuttings I took of the Cestrum nocturnum Hasnaherna cuttings I took the other day, and that'll be February before I can do an update if it's successful. And then to my Meyer lemon, which is also, I call it my IKEA lemon. So I've had this 4 years now. Got it as a plant from IKEA. It was a little tree at the time. It has grown quite a lot. I tried overwintering it outdoors the first 2 years, and what happened when I left it outdoors during the winter, it would die back. There was a lot of dieback, lost lots of leaves. Didn't kill it, but it sort of delayed it, delayed its growth. So for the last 2 years I brought it inside during the winter, and it helps, it maintains the fruit that are already on it. So there's a ripening fruit that's been growing all summer. There's one there, and the different stages of growth on this. So it's still continuing to flower, and as you can see, it's putting out new fruit. What I do is don't water it too often, but try not to let it dry out, and I use this spray bottle. So I'd literally just give it a little spray of water. See my giant taro there in the background. That's a new leaf it's just put out. And I've sprayed my other plants as well. These are the cherimoyas that I've brought in, and they're just starting to get new leaves. They dropped all their leaves and they're just starting to get new ones again. So all been overwintered bougainvilleas I got from Bangladesh, and I broke a stem off the bougainvillea. It's dropped the leaves, but I've stuck it in this pot just to see if it droops. You never know. A lot of people say don't bother with spray misting. you know, with a water bottle, it doesn't help. But I disagree. It helps to keep down spider mite and thrips, because these plants that you bring indoors are very prone to insect attack, because there aren't any predatory insects to feed off them, so they can go wild. You know, you'll get scale, you'll get thrips, and I find that if I spray the underside of the leaves with water, it does help. I don't want to invest in a humidifier. I think if I was running a humidifier for an hour or so, or many hours during the day, it would just create damp in my household. You know, it's not a greenhouse. This is, you know, the home that I live in, and I don't want black mould forming because of, you know, humidifiers. If I had a greenhouse, then it would be more suitable for that, but I certainly wouldn't have a mechanical humidifier going for hours at a time. So the spray misting does the job for me. It benefits most of my plants. I don't see anything detrimental happening, and I think it does create just enough moisture for them. So you could do it once in the morning, once in the evening, just to keep, you know, some humidity going, and just water when they need it. This I've got the bucket around it because I haven't got any trays big enough really to hold the water. So when I do water it, I give it a good drenching, and so the water will flood out basically. I'm not going to lug it indoors and outdoors just to water it, so put the bucket underneath. Is the IKEA lemon. And whilst we're looking at the citrus, I will have a pop outside and show you the Bergamot orange tree that I got as well. So here we are outside. It's a bit chilly. I'm not going to stay out here too long. This is my Bergamot orange, and just giving it a bit of a water because the leaves are starting to curl a bit. It's still outside, 7 degrees. It's going to be frosty, I think, in a couple of days time. So I've got a fleece here that I will put over it just to give it some extra protection, but it didn't like being indoors. I brought it indoors and there was quite a lot of leaf drop, but as soon as I brought it back outside, it's kept, you know, it's kept all its leaves so far. So it's under the eaves of my house, so it's got some protection, but it's too warm indoors for it. That's the Bergamot orange. I'll just have a quick look at my Washington Naval Orange. So this is the Naval Orange. I've had this for years. I've got 2 of these. One of them's in the back garden. I'm just protecting it with this plastic cover I made, just to give it a little bit of insulation, but it's getting plenty of light. It's semi-sheltered under the eaves of the house, and I've just put some paper cardboard around the root area around the pot just to insulate it when it does go, you know, into the minus figures. We'll say I've got 2 of these. Hopefully next year I'll have a greenhouse that can put them in during the winter, so any fruits it does have will stay on, because they tend to fall off as soon as it gets a bit too cold. Did flower tremendously and had lots of fruits, but they fell off unfortunately. So that's one of the 2 Washington Naval Oranges. This is my oak leaf papaya with no leaves on it at all, and soil's quite dry. It's still alive. Hopefully it will last the winter. I'm sort of resisting bringing it indoors I want to see if it's hardy or not, which is a bit of a gamble. I might put some protection over it when it gets frosty, but I'm going to keep it outdoors for now. So that's all I've got to show you today regarding citrus. So thank you for watching. Take care everyone and have a nice Christmas. Bye bye.